welcome to Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Goose.
I'm Rad.
And I am Darren.
And guys, it looks like it's just the three of us today because Barjo's gone missing.
Oh, negative, Goose. Barjo lost another round of Rocket League against me, so it's just his turn to do the cleaning.
Well, wait, he's cleaning?
Oh, Darren, there is so much rust in here.
Barjo?
Whoa, wait, you're inside Darren?
Yeah, he used his shrink laser on me. Oh, and it's so hot in here too. Seriously, Darren, haven't you got any air conditioning?
Just hurry up and finish scrubbing away all that rust, and I promise I'll teleport you out for next week's show.
Yeah, all right. Stupid Rocket League. Have a good show, guys. Oh, what was that?
Is he gonna be okay?
Probably.
Yeah, remind me not to play you in Rocket League again. All right, coming up on today's show, we pummel our way through the particle platforming of Knack 2.
Plus, now that it's out on console, we do a full review of the adventure RPG Undertale.
All right, you two, are you ready to be tested on some gaming trivia? Because it's time for Darren's Challenge! Today, I'm asking you a riddle about a game. I am orange, you are blue, and no matter how far away we are, I'm always next to you. What am I? Answer at the end of the show.
That's really good, Darren. I'm orange, you are blue.
Yeah, and it's something from a game. Well, we'll be thinking on that, but first, it's time for our review.
Undertale is an indie role-playing game with simple retro graphics. It originally came out on the PC, but it's just come out on the PlayStation 4. It's set in a world where humans and monsters once lived together in harmony. But after a war breaks out, the monsters are banished to live in the underground.
You play as a human child who accidentally falls into the underground. You'll need your wits about you as you search for a way home, exploring the twisting caverns, solving puzzles, and interacting with the cast of wacky monsters who live below.
When you encounter these monsters, you're thrust into a mini bullet hell style interaction. During your opponent's turn, you need to move a heart around a small box, dodging a fusillade of attacks that are flung your way.
Yeah, and these bits can be absolutely punishing. Round after round of messy, fast-paced sprays of attacks that you'll have to duck and weave. And there's an array of different attacks that'll keep you on your toes too.
There's also a few modes that your heart will be put into that change how you need to act. For example, this boss battle, which turns your heart purple and restricts your movement along these lines. These modes add some variety to the gameplay.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to try and figure out what they mean and how to best your foe, but oh buddy, did I get really stuck on some parts. In fact, I think I spent more time on boss fights than I did playing the rest of the game. There is such a thing as too punishing, but with enough health replenishing food in your backpack and persistence, you should be able to get by.
During your own turn in battles, a few options are made available to you. You can fight using a timing-based slider to inflict maximum damage. You can show mercy by fleeing or sparing your opponent. Or you can act.
Act is a really interesting part of this game because it's different for every monster you encounter. The options often sound rather meaningless or a bit bizarre and humorous. You can flirt or flex your muscles at them. Sun's out, guns out! But these often have unexpected results because this isn't your usual rough and tumble role-playing game.
Yeah, that's right. Undertale is all about the choices you make and how you choose to interact with the creatures you meet. In fact, the dialogue at events will specifically change according to how you play. And this is obvious when replaying the game, because this is a game that's meant to be played more than once.
Because story is such a huge part of it, we don't want to give too much away. It's definitely best if you can experience it firsthand without having anything spoiled. But Goose, how did it make you feel?
Oh, Rad, I felt conflicted. It challenged my innate ideas about what I thought I was supposed to do and why I thought it was the right thing to do. In a way, it's about a bunch of outcasts finding a sense of belonging amongst one another. And that can be really powerful to experience.
Absolutely. And while I'm really glad that Undertale was made, and I'm happy I played it and experienced it, as I started to get towards the end, I had the realization that I wasn't really having any fun. You know, it was interesting, it was unique, it was lovingly crafted and unexpected, but not fun.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a very thoughtful game, but you're right, it's not always necessarily fun to play. And I think balance issues can occur when the game's created by just one person, which in the case of Undertale, it was.
Affirmative. Composer and developer Toby Fox. What a remarkable human.
Yeah, and any game made entirely by one person is an achievement, but Fox also managed to make a world with complexity, layers, and heart. It's this twisting storyline that unfolds slowly, and it unveils new things to you each time you come back. However, I did not enjoy myself enough to want to play it again.
Well, I actually played this when it first came out on PC, and I felt the exact same way. It was an entertaining experience, but one I didn't want to come back to straight away. But coming back to this game had a really strong impact on me. Just remembering the connections I'd made with all those characters, that mysterious world, along with all that fantastic music, it really got the emotions swirling again. And that's because I realized that long after finishing it, Undertale is a game that stayed with me, right here.
Yeah, that's true. I enjoy talking about it, and I have so much to say, you know? It's certainly memorable and extremely ambitious. I just don't think I had that same strong emotional connection, but I have full respect for its accomplishments. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 rubber chickens.
You know, the more time that passes, the richer this game becomes to me, and I'm really glad I got a chance to revisit it all. So I'm giving Undertale 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
There it is, the code, the key to 1,000 secrets. Hello there, my young Factolites. Today I have a special story for you. It is the tale of one of gaming's greatest hidden treasures. A simple code that when used can give you superpowers. This is the tale of the Konami Code. It all began when a small team of developers at Konami were then given the task of porting the arcade game Gradius, a tough side-scrolling shooter released in 1985, onto the Nintendo Entertainment System. But one of the developers, Kazuhisa Hashimoto, hadn't played much of the notoriously difficult arcade game and found it too hard, so he cheated. He programmed in an easy-to-remember magical combination of button presses to grant him every power-up in the game. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B-A. The Konami Code. Legend has it, he simply forgot to take the code out when the game was released, and whether it was through sheer random chance or simple fate, players soon discovered the powerful code, and knowledge of it slowly began to spread. However, Gradius never was that popular, and it wasn't until the much more successful, but equally brutal game Contra that the code found its real fame after being published in a magazine. In Contra, a single shot could end your game, which was excellent for getting spare change pumped into arcade cabinets, but slightly more frustrating when you owned the game at home. So, with the power of the Konami Code, NES players were granted the ability to instantly receive 30 extra lives. Due to its popularity in Contra, it also became known as the Contra Code and the 30 Lives Code. And due to its power and easy-to-remember inputs, it has since gone on to feature hundreds of times in games, websites, and throughout pop culture. Now, chant it with me. Up, up, down, left, right, B-A. Up, down, left, right, B-A.
Alright, Goose, let's kick things off with this from Tom, who is in Bajo's Sandwich in New South Wales. Wait, if Tom is inside Bajo's Sandwich, then he's in grave danger.
We need to warn Bajo straight away. I'll call Darren's internal line. Bajo, it's Goose and Rad. Don't eat the sandwich. Tom's inside.
We got you back, Tom. You're safe now.
Crisis averted.
Hey, Spawn Point. I have a few questions. I have asked lots of questions, and none of them have been answered. 1. Cincy, everyone who does a video question gets a t-shirt, can Spawnlings get a t-shirt for irregular text questions? Please. 2. Can you play multiplayer on Minecraft between Xbox One and PlayStation 4? 3. Why is Darren a noob? Thanks!
Well, Tom, we wanted to reward the Spawnlings who went to the extra effort of making a video with a little thank you present from us. So if we did that with our regular text questions, it wouldn't make it as special.
Also, you guys already get the awesome reward of having your questions on TV, which I'd say makes for pretty good bragging rights.
As for your second question, well, sadly, no, you can't play multiplayer Minecraft between an Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Even when the Better Together update comes out, the PS4 won't be getting it since Sony doesn't want to allow cross-platform play with other consoles.
Yeah, the only versions that we'll be able to play together are the Pocket Edition, Xbox One, Switch, and Windows 10 versions. At least for now. The PlayStation may eventually play nice with some other consoles at some point.
And I don't think Darren is a noob, personally. I mean, he's a very experienced gamer and he's super knowledgeable about almost every game ever, which I'd say makes him some sort of anti-noob.
Yeah, his name does stand for the data analyzing robot for the ruthless extermination of noobs, so anti-noob, it's basically his middle name.
Well, it's more his last name, really, but I get your point.
No, but see, it's an acronym, so how does that work with first name? Anyway, let's move on now, and we have this one from Alexander Thinks Rad's Nose is Gross.
Hang on, well, that seems a little rude, Alexander.
Oh, wait, see, he is in Up Rad's Nose in Western Australia, and to be fair, I'd probably think my nose was gross if I had to live in it too.
I have two questions for you. One, is Pokemon Go available for computer? 2, can you still buy games for PlayStation 1? Darren, do these. I'll just get Darren on the line now.
I am a big, cool legend!
Thanks, Darren.
You read that wrong. Well, I'm sorry you have to live up my nose, Alexander, but I can definitely help you with those questions. So firstly, technically phones are computers, so in that sense, yes. Pokemon Go is available for computers.
I'm guessing that wasn't really what Alexander was asking though, Red. I think they mean more like, is it available for Windows or Mac desktops?
Oh, no, I know, but if I just said no, then some clever spawnling would write in and call me a noob because phones are technically types of computers. So I'm just being accurate. And I don't plan to break my Noob Cup free streak anytime soon, mister. But the answer you're probably looking for, Alexander, is no. Pokemon Go is only available for mobile devices, which are technically small computers.
Yeah, okay.
And considering the main aim of the game is to walk around and find Pokemon, I don't think it would work too well on a big desktop computer.
But it would work well on a small laptop or a tablet computer, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it would, but even so, it's not available for them. Although there are ways to get Android apps to run on PC. But like I said, unless you can walk around with your computer, there isn't much point.
Yeah, fair enough. As for if you can still buy PlayStation 1 games, well, yes, it's possible to find games for just about every system ever released if you know where to look. Online resellers and auction sites will usually have loads of old games on them, and certain special retro game stores are out there, and they'll no doubt have a few as well.
Yeah, but don't expect to find any in most major gaming stores, since they tend to only stock games for the current consoles. But on that note, let's move on now to this video question from Jonathan.
Hey Good Game Spawn Point, it's me, a dog-headed person. Joking, I'm a real human, and I've just got a couple of questions to ask you. 1. Is Xbox One X the most powerful console, or is there something more powerful? 2. What's your favourite game ever? And 3. Do you guys like creepers? Because I really hate them. Oh, what's that? What's that? Shh!
Well, you certainly had us fooled there for a second with that dog head, Jonathan. You're barking mad. But as for your questions, well, yes, from what we understand, the Xbox One X will indeed be the most powerful console when it comes out. Well, that's what they keep saying anyway.
Yeah, but Darren is a bit of an expert on all that technical computer power stuff, so let's give him a ring-a-ding-a-ling-ling and see if he can explain what they mean when they say it's the most powerful.
Hello, Darren speaking.
Hey Darren, we were wondering if you could help explain how they measure powerful in a console.
Oh, of course. When it comes to talking about computer power, people tend to talk about flops.
Flops? As in falling over?
Negative. Flops as in floating point operations per second.
Hang on, wouldn't that be for pops?
That's not how acronyms work, Goose. But as I was saying, flops are a measurement used in computing to put a rough number on how much computing a computer can compute per second. In other words, how powerful it is.
Alright, so how many flops can modern consoles do?
Well, a Switch varies from about 200 to 400 gigaflops, depending on if it's running in docked or portable mode. A standard Xbox One cranks out about 1.3 teraflops, so it's a bit over 3 times as powerful as a Switch. A standard PS4 can handle about 1.8 teraflops, while a PS4 Pro produces around 4.2 teraflops, making it more than twice as powerful as a standard PS4. While an Xbox One X will be able to crank out just over 6 teraflops of power.
Whoa, that's like as powerful as 4.5 Xbox Ones taped together.
Well, if taping consoles together made them more powerful, then yes, it would be exactly like that.
Well, I think it really depends on what kind of tape you use, Darren. So what is it that makes one console more powerful than another?
Oh, well, without getting too technical, it simply comes down to the various parts they use being more advanced or having more of them. So if a console has more memory and more powerful processors, then that allows it to produce more flops than a console with fewer parts.
Well, makes sense, I guess. The better the parts, the more powerful it is. Wait, so does that mean the Xbox One X will be the most powerful computer ever?
Negative. Of course, there are supercomputers and, more commonly, the almighty gaming PC. A high-end gaming PC will always be much more powerful than any console. But in terms of consoles, the X will be the one to beat. It's not out yet, though, so technically the PS4 Pro is still the most powerful for now.
Yes, oh, thank you, Darren. Thank you. Enlightening as always.
Anyway, moving on. As for my favourite game ever, well, throughout my life, my favourite game has always been one from the Zelda series. And I think the most recent one is easily at the top of my list now.
I wonder how many flops I have.
Favourite game?
Oh, I'd probably have to say my favorite is Terraria. Such a great game. I played so much of that with my sisters, getting all that great loot and defeating all those epic bosses, not to mention exploring all those exciting new areas. Pretty much a perfect game, in my opinion.
And as for if we like creepers, well, no, I do not. Actually, I hate them.
Yeah, they're a bummer coming up and blowing up all your stuff like that. Not cool.
Although I do have to tip my hat to the design of them, though. They're so iconic. And in a game all about building, your biggest enemy should of course be some annoying cactus thing that comes and blows up your house. So I respect them, but I do not like them.
Oh, me neither. Thanks again for your question, Jonathan. We'll be sending you a special Spawn Point shirt very soon.
But on that note, we're out of time for this week. And if you'd like to ask us a question in either shirt-winning video form or bragging right-winning text form, then you can go here and send it in. Some fine modelling, Rad.
Thank you!
It's not how you wear it, though.
I used to be a model.
My name is Lucas, and this is my home. A beautiful place, covered in mysterious relics. Most think they're the remnants of a long-lost civilization. They're kind of important, mostly because they power, like, everything. A friend of mine, the doctor, spent his whole life studying them, learning their secrets. And one day, he discovered how to connect them, to bring them life, to create Knack. And Knack, he can do anything.
Knack is a sort of living relic. He's a strange creature made up of particles with a wooden head, and he can shed those particles to go small or gather them back up again to go large.
And now Knack is back, and he's here to stop an ancient war between goblins and humans.
Yurik returned to his lab and conceived a new plan. He designed a control center from which to coordinate and command his forces, as well as created weapons so powerful that no human could ever stop them.
In Knack 2, you don't have to play alone.
That's right, this is completely playable cooperatively with a friend who plays as a Knack clone. The game begins with an epic battle sequence, where Knack and his friends defend the city of New Haven and its people from giant robots.
Giant robots are my favourite robots.
This invasion is just a taste of things to come. You're quickly thrown back in time 6 months earlier to begin an archaeological exploration adventure.
And as you explore, fight goblins, and solve puzzles, you realize that Knack 2 is a very different game to the first one. It's bigger, prettier, and full of much more interesting combat mechanics.
Yeah, it's got some epic set pieces with a great variety of locations and lots of new abilities to unlock and upgrade. And best of all, player 2 can pick up a controller and join in at any time. Although, Rad, I will say I'm still not a massive fan of Knack himself. I don't know what it is. He just lacks any personality. He feels like he's pieced together out of bits of other heroes, and he just feels unfinished.
Harsh, although I do know what you mean. I'm not a massive fan of the look of Knack or the art style of his friends. But I will say they have done a better job with the story this time.
Yes, it's true.
Knack now has a variety of new moves to deal with enemies. Strong and light punches, belly flops, leap attacks and kicks, and as you progress through the game, the difficulty ramps up smoothly. And you know what, Rad? I was actually surprised at how much fun the combat was.
Me too, Goose. You'll often encounter interesting combinations of enemies which really make you think about how to approach a fight. I really liked baddies with armor or shields. They need to be dealt heavy punches first before you can effectively take them out.
If you look closely, you'll also notice armor falling off enemies as you attack. It's a nice visual touch to help the player understand when the enemies are most vulnerable.
You'll also need to dash well to avoid attacks and close that distance. But unlike the first game, dashing isn't your only way to stay alive and fight. Now it's more a balanced part of the combat. Just another tool in your toolkit of bashy destruction. Also, I love kicking me some bad guys. Whee! Bye, buddy!
There's also different knack types now. Pick up Iron, and Knack gains the ability to whip chains and conduct electricity. Ice Knack can freeze enemies and extinguish their flames. And Stealth Knack can walk through lasers. These additions also cleverly play into the game's puzzles.
Well, I quite liked the puzzles in this game. Nothing too taxing on the old brain-a-rooney, but nothing too easy either. Just right.
Yeah, you do have to stop and think a little, but it doesn't really break the flow of the game. And there's an excellent visual hint system if you really do get stuck on anything.
I found the puzzles are more fun if you're playing with a friend, and in the combat there's a few special co-op moves, which are super useful.
There are still a few fiddly moments in co-op play, however, especially when leaping onto hooks or when the game is in close quarters. And the locked camera view makes it a little tricky at times to navigate with two players.
Yeah, I agree, Daz. But it's not a huge problem overall, and it is well worth the addition of co-op, because it makes the game way more fun.
Yeah, and you can teleport to your co-op buddy at any time. So if you're playing with a younger spawnling who might be new to games, it's the perfect way to introduce them to some fairly tricky gameplay ideas without it being too overwhelming for them.
Agreed. I would say this is a perfect game to teach a noob.
And I'm always a fan of diminishing the noob presence on Earth in general.
Final thoughts?
Well, I really like the changes they've made to this sequel to deepen the gameplay, and it's got a great variety of locations, although I can't say I'm still on board with Knack himself, so I'm giving this 3 out of 5 rubber chickens.
You can really tell the developers listened to criticisms of the first game, which is always a good thing. Overall, Knack 2 is a well-varied and quite fun action platformer. I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 rubber chickens. Okay, Darren, I've been going over that riddle and I can't figure it out, so please give us the answer.
Affirmative.
At the start of the show, I asked you this gaming riddle. I am orange, you are blue, and no matter how far away we are,
I'm always next to you.
and the answer is a portal from Portal.
Of course, the orange portal and the blue portal, they connect. Oh, that's a tough one, Darren, but a good one.
Next week on the show, we grab our clubs and hit the fairway in the Golf RPG, Everybody's Golf.
Oh!
Ah, sorry.
No golfing in the studio.
Feels good, feels good, it feels good.
Oh, before we go, Darren, can we just check that Bajo's okay?
Yeah, he might have got stuck in a gear or something.
Here we go.
Oh, hey guys. Yeah, it's awesome in here now. I've done a bit of decorating and it is spotless. Pristine.
Oh, well, thank you, but don't get too comfortable.
Yeah, we're gonna need you back next week, okay, Bajo?
Oh, yeah, Darren, you never told me you could access your games library from here.
Bajo, we've got lots to do out here.
Every game system ever made, in perfect emulation, ultimate power.
Right, I think I'll need to do a full system reboot.
Darren, hang on a sec.
Powering down.
Oh, Darren? Oh, well, I don't know how long he takes to reboot, so until next week, goose out.
Rat out.
Oh, Darren out. I simply must change that startup sound.
Never change.
Oh.